So I want to do a raise of hands before I begin. So who's a startup founder in here? Raise your hands. Great. We have quite many. You're superstars, by the way. Who has thought of setting up a company? Raise your hand. Okay, more. So you should do it tomorrow. And the rest of you, I'm going to guide you through the story of Vital Fields. And I'm going to show you that it's not so hard to set up a company. You don't need a lot of money. You don't even need a great idea. You'll figure it out on the way. You just need to start. So I am one of the co-founders of Vital Fields. And previously, I said, I was working in Skype as a product manager, and I was amazed about the simplicity of Skype. There were plenty of voice over IP calling products before Skype. How Skype made it was the simplicity, because before people had to configure firewalls to use them, and Skype did it itself, and it became so big. And we wanted to do the same in agriculture, make it as simple as possible. But today, I'm not going to talk about the product. I'm going to talk about how to build up a company and to do a successful exit and grow even more inside the bigger company. So it all started from a hackathon. So me and my co-founder, we met at the hackathon. So hackathon is a weekend hacking event where tech people, designers, project managers, and business people come together. They form teams and set up sort of, and the objective is to do a little working product by the end of the weekend. So there were 4 co-founders, and the idea was to we had knowledge about weather forecasting. So we thought, why don't we make a weather forecasting system for surfers, for kite surfers. I was a kite surfer myself, so we created an awesome system where you can mark out a beach and the wind direction and speed that you would like, and it will tell you 2 days ahead when this desired wind will arrive, so you can cancel your meetings and go surfing. It was an awesome product. I was the only one who was using it. And then at some point, we started, so for about 4 months we built this product, and then we started thinking, maybe we should Google a little bit and find maybe there are any competitors out there. We did Google before, but we didn't spend enough time on that. So we did Google it, and we found the exact same solution, but a lot better and for free. And so we thought, okay, that was a waste of time. So we consume alcoholic beverages, and after that, we thought, okay, but we still have this weather forecasting part. It actually has a great value. And I had knowledge about agriculture. One of my co-founders, he actually has a farm. So we thought, okay, let's make something real out of this. Let's create a weather forecasting system for farmers. So we sat in a car and drove to meet farmers. We drove to meet, so the company was, we're all from Estonia, the company was set up in Estonia. We drove to meet 3 successful farmers in Estonia, just sat down there and said, okay, tell me what you do, from end to the beginning. And we tried to sell some of our ideas to them, but they said, no, forget it. Weather forecasting is for free, and everything else I can do in Excel, which is great. So I don't need anything. But we still continued. We started building a weather forecasting systems, which was specially designed for farmers. And also, we soon discovered that fungal diseases had a correlation with weather. So because we already knew the historic weather patterns, and we saw 2 weeks ahead into the forecast, then we started collecting those disease forecasts to provide a disease risk assessment for the farmers. So we started building that. Afterwards, we joined Startup Wise Guys. So if you set up your company and then what helps are the accelerators. So Startup Wise Guys is one accelerator. There is Maris over there. She's a representative. You can talk to her. You can go into an accelerator. They will give you money. They will take care of you like little chickens in an incubator. And then you can spread your wings and fly after that. So we joined an accelerator. We didn't have any money. And we still had day jobs. We had to quit our jobs because we saw it isn't really possible to do a startup and have a job at the same time. But we didn't have any money. And usually these are the two biggest reasons why people don't set up their own companies. Either people say to themselves, I don't have any money, or I don't have a good idea. As you saw here, we didn't have a good idea. And we didn't have any money either. What we did have were loans. So I had a house loan, for instance, but actually it's possible to get, if you go talk to the bank, it's possible to get an extension for the payment, sort of. We did that. If you own a car, you can sell it and drive a bus. That's what we did for about 1.5 years. And so in Startup Wise Guys, we started building the product. I was the business guy. Vahur, my co-founder, was the tech guy who was programming the system. And I reached out to farmers from California to Kazakhstan. We even visited some farmers in California and kind of did market research and built the product and everything at the same time. The accelerator ended in London in a demo event where all of the major VCs were there, Index Ventures, Balderton Capital, and we talked to all of them. We went to meetings there. We thought, oh, that was easy. So our startup is now it's only going up from here, and that was pretty easy. However, when the Wise Guys accelerator ended, then we found ourselves in a situation where we didn't have any money anymore because we spent it all. It wasn't a lot. It was 15,000 euros. So we spent that money. We had we had 3 co-founders by that time. The tech people had constant disagreements, so they were arguing a lot and not really building the product as they should. We didn't have any real investment outlooks because, hey, if you go talk to an investor, they won't invest right away. That's just how investors work. So and then the second co-founder left out of 4, and that was the weather guy, and we had a weather company. We had no paying customers, and I had a nearly fatal car accident. Nearly fatal, meaning I almost died. The car rolled over 4 times. I was rushed to the hospital, cut completely open. Broken parts were cut out, thrown away, and then I was sewn together again. So I was in a hospital. I remember I had later when I got out, I had investor meetings in my backyard. So I was walking like that into an investor meeting in my backyard. But that worked because we closed our first investment round of 250,000 euros a month after that. So somehow being desperate and not dying helps. So then it was 2013, we signed our first distribution. We already had a system, we got a first distributor, and my co-founder Vahur, he created a field recording system. We were supposed to have a disease forecasting company, and I was flying around Europe collecting those disease forecasts from institutes and universities, and Vahur was supposed to build a disease forecasting system. What he really was doing was he was building a field recording system for some friend farmer who asked this from him. So he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. And actually, that ended up being our core business. So then we went into Ukraine. Ukraine has some of the best soils in Europe, and it's a huge agricultural country. Huge money there in agriculture, so we thought, why don't we take Ukraine as the first big external market outside of Estonia. 90% of our effort went to this disease forecasting, and 90% of our customers came because of this field recording system that the co-founder created without any plan and during one night. After that, we closed another round of 500,000 euros. We could employ some people. We got our first employee abroad in Ukraine. We saw sign-ups all over Europe, but none of them were really sticking. So we saw people signing up and then going away. It wasn't really working well. Then the conflict in Ukraine hit, so Ukrainian farmers didn't want to buy anything anymore. They had much bigger problems to worry about. Can they ship their grain out of the country, and so on. So basically, we had 3 people by that time in Ukraine. We had to let them all go and pull out of Ukraine, unfortunately. So we spent a lot of time, and basically we spent more than a year there. So then we pivoted completely to farm management. We gave up disease forecasting because we saw that farmers said, you know, this disease forecasting, it makes up like 4% of my problems, but I have problems with workers, machinery, financials, subsidies, all of that. So we focused mainly on farm management. Then we closed another round of 1.1 million euros, and we tried very different sales methods, and it's very, very important for startups to find scalable sales. And usually, quite often, salespeople are not scalable. So if salespeople can only sell so much, and they're quite expensive, they're quite slow, so quite often startup business models can't afford salespeople. So we tried with salespeople, we tried with different resellers, nothing really worked. What actually really worked at the end, and how the company took off, was PR. So we discovered that in big countries, there are specialized agricultural PR companies, and I'm actually so glad that there have been so many presentations here about PR. It's really actually a powerful tool, especially for startups, because you can get a lot of attention. If you do it right, you can get a lot of attention and not pay a lot of money. So it makes sense. So we started signing up hundreds and hundreds of farms per month from Germany and Poland. Now we opened up in Romania, and then we signed up one of the largest farm holdings in Europe, in European Union, Spearhead with almost 100,000 hectares. We were in 7 countries. We had 7 languages in the system, and then we exited the company to the world's fastest growing digital agriculture company named the Climate Corporation. And now we can actually combine the 2 products and offer even greater services for the farmers. So that's our little story. Anyone can do it. It was crazy. It was very, very hard. But I would say the hardest part was to begin. Once you begin, everything will you will find a way. You will sort things out. I put together a small list of lessons learned. So if you have a startup, then these things I would bring out. Hire A players. For instance, technical people. If you hire junior people, then it'll take, development will take a lot of time, and at the end of the day, you don't know if your product was bad or the quality of the product was bad. If there wasn't product market fit, or just the quality of the product was bad. And you can figure it out much quicker with good, good developers, A players, although they are super expensive. Go to large foreign markets as soon as possible. It's comfortable being in your home country. Don't get used to it, go outside. Find scalable sales, I talked about that. Talk to customers right away, try to sell right away. So when you have an idea, you go talk to a customer. The customer will listen to you and they will usually give you good feedback. It's because people don't want to give bad feedback, because people like to be good with other people. What you should do is say that, okay, thanks very much for this good feedback. I have a bag here, and inside the bag is a contract. We can sign it, and then you have to pay money for me. And then they say, no, I'm not ready to sign. And you can ask why, and then they will tell you the real reasons why they think your product is actually a crap product, and why you should actually improve your product, and how. So then you get the really valuable feedback. Technical teams need a commercial person. If you have a startup, you have only other developers in your team, get a business person there. I've seen tech teams tinker too long with their products and not go out and not sell it. It'll take a long time, so prepare for a long run. I haven't personally seen close up any startups who make any considerable success within 2 years. 2 years at least you have to endure. Contracts make sense. Usually startups hate contracts, but if you, for instance, if you go to an accelerator, they will make you sign contracts, and that's a good thing. Because if you have problems down the line, like founders changing or whatever, it's actually it's written there how you should behave. If everything is good, beware, it will pass. If everything is bad, don't judge, because that also will pass. Good ways to get advisors. So what you should do is in your area, find a really good, knowledgeable person, and try to get talking with him or her. You could use LinkedIn, for instance. So you could write to a person, hey, we're a young startup, you're a really knowledgeable person in this area. Is it possible that we do a 30-minute call or less? And I would really love to hear your advice on something. And this is how you can build up your own network. Network, really important. So don't talk to people you know. Talk to new people. I can bring you some examples how networking helps. One time I was going to another London demo event with Startup Wise Guys startups, and we had an event in a bar after that, and I started talking to a guy about Tarkovsky movies in that bar. Turns out he was an economist journalist, and we got an article about vital fields in The Economist, which is impossible to get. So networking, very, very important. How to get the investors to commit? For investors won't do quick decisions, because every day they delay, they de-risk themselves. I think Ryan Runno yesterday brought that example that for an investor, a startup is like a train which starts departing from the station, and if he sees that he cannot keep up walking with the train anymore, he will jump on. If that train slows down, he will walk away. So you will have to create a competition between investors and make them feel that they are missing the train. this is it for me. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Martin.